Welcome to On the Glide Slope, Alaska Edition. This is going to be a very quick flight today. We're going to go through our pre-flight here pretty quick because I'm sort of pressed for time at the moment. But basically we are in the TorqueSim SR22 and we are going to fly from Dillingham, Alaska to the village of Togiak, which is in Bristol Bay. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's also a fishing capital of the universe for a lot of people. And I'm lucky to get to go there to fish on occasion. And I've got a trip coming up, and I thought it would be fun to sim it real fast. The flight that we used to make in a Grumman Goose to land on the river. Now we fly to the village of Togiak from Anchorage and land on a runway. But in the old days, you'd fly the Goose through the mountain passes and land on the river, and then it would come pick you up, which was really cool. And now it's still really cool, but it's a charter from Anchorage into Togiak, the village itself. And not quite the same, but still, this should be fun. I just get myself pumped up. So we can look at the route real fast. Here on ForeFlight, we're here at Dillingham, and we're basically going to fly almost due west over the top of WWII Lake through these mountain passes, and then we'll make a left-hand turn and fly down the river to the village of Togiak, and then depending on the weather, probably land east. And this is out in the middle of nowhere. How out in the middle of nowhere, you ask? Really out in the middle of nowhere. But if you haven't been to Alaska, you gotta go, and if you like to fish, this is not a bad place to do it. So again, sort of a pump-up flight for me for an upcoming trip. So, fuel imbalance. Okay, well, let's unbalance the fuel. We should be on right tanks now. And we will fly with terrain on for this particular flight so that we can see what might be coming. All right. We should get the weather real fast. I also have traffic on, just in case there's any around. Dillingham weather is 125.0. And Dilly weather is clearly not in the sim because I'm not hearing it. We'll look on here and see what it says. Wind 180 at 12. That means that we want to take runway 19er. Bug that heading. Turn that off. That was annoying. 19er. There we go, and right traffic, but we're going to take off from 19er and basically just make a right-hand turn and head due west. What's the heading we want? We want a heading of about 275 magnetic. Okay, so that's good to know. Not a long flight. This flight should be well, let's see here. 27 minutes, give or take. We're actually in a hangar here in Togiak. I want to make a small adjustment to my visuals here. There we go. Watch out for the truck. It's raining here. Fuel truck runs into us. It's almost always raining in Alaska somewhere. We back taxi here at Dillingham. There's a CTAF frequency here we would call. Let's make sure nobody's coming. Nobody coming that way, nobody coming that way. Rain effects are pretty cool on X.12. And what's our altitude here at Dilly? 82 feet. Makes it easy to adjust our barometer. There we go. Anti-ice quantity. We're not going to need anti-ice, but okay, it's nice to know the warning. TorqueSim SR22 does a pretty good job of simulating your fluid levels and the rest. Looks like we got somebody watching. Hello, Owen. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. It's going to probably be sort of a short one. Alright, we've got plenty of takeoff room. Flaps 50. Make sure full rich. Everything looks green. Fuel pump to boost. We'll make a quick flip here. We'll also probably see some cool clouds here. Okay, controls, free and clear, everything's working. Alright, let's go. RPMs as expected, engine instruments are on the green, airspeed is alive, reasonably close to the center line, VX. Dillingham is a fishing village. No roads in and out of Dillingham. Clouds are looking good on X-plane. And we've got rain. Should be plenty of daylight when and if we get there. What did I say the heading was going to be? 275? We always were sort of sketched out doing this IFR or VFR. It was always an IFR flight, and if for whatever reason the clouds were coming in, the goose was always sort of making us a little bit nervous with the conditions. But today everything seems pretty good. Yeah, 274. About the heading we want to be on here in just a second. Here we go. Now we're going to go up to 3,500 feet. We'll get up to that. And we are on our way. Looks like the Apple map still has some weather or some snow on the ground. Looking out that window. We're within 1,000 feet where we want to be. That looks great from a cloud standpoint though. Doesn't that look cool? Look at that. That's what it looks like in the real world there when it's this kind of weather. Okay, Got our heading. We're nicely trimmed. And we're on our way to the Togiak. I may clear up the weather conditions. Part of the reasons I wanted to do this was for the scenery. And this overcast is kind of not making that great. But we'll see how it goes. Fuel pump off. Our second stick is looking good over here. Nice. There we go. Oh, we're way over 3,500 feet. We don't need to burn quite all that. There we go. We can go over at 45. We're going west anyway. We're coming up to our altitude. Our autopilot ready. Altitude hold. Flaps, we never put them up. Not following a checklist, my mistake. And heading mode. There we go. We'll let auto fly the airplane for a minute. Okay. Hello, Stan. Good to see you. Samantha the Foxo. Thank you. Glad you like it. It's been a labor of love for a long time. Take a look out the right-hand window. And I think I am going to clear up the weather a little bit. It'll only take me a second, but part of why I'm doing this is I want to see the terrain. So we will just very quickly give ourselves different weather. Give me just 1 second. We'll go VFR scattered. There we go. Actually, I don't even want VFR scattered. It's a little too VFR, a little too scattered. Few clouds. Now what's interesting is, I've noticed that this thing over here doesn't change the weather. The slave machine doesn't seem to change the weather when I change the weather on the master. I haven't been able to quite figure out why that's the case. But it's a little distracting to have different visuals out that window. Stay below the cloud deck here. And I went with the Apple Maps because they are. It's interesting. I've got this weird. I've got a little bit of a weird response on this yoke here. That fixes it. I wonder if maybe I'm having a competing input from this yoke over here. But yeah, so I'll have to send a bug report to X-Plane and ask them why why the slave machine isn't mirroring the changes to the weather when I make them on the fly. If I go back to real world weather, we'll see if it comes back. And it seems inconsistent. Like I'll change the time of day, and the slave machine will change to day to night, no problem. We'll just go with this. That looks too amazing anyway, doesn't it? Really. but I'll have to look into that because I'm not quite sure why that happens technically. Alright, we'll bug 4,000 feet. 4,500. Let's go up at 500 feet a minute. There we go. And who knows, when we get down there, it may be nice and sunny. Get ourselves back on course. That's Amanka Lake.
Attention all aircraft. Altimeter 3017.
Oh, there's Dillingham's weather. We're gonna motor here. Gotta keep this flight short. I gotta work tomorrow. Okay, let's see. If you have any questions in the chat, I'm happy to answer them. Foxtrot Flight Designs. The weather on slave not updating with the master is a known bug. Currently working on. Oh, good. Glad to know. A little too VFR. Yeah, that was a little too VFR for me. The yokes are both plugged into the same machine. So Foxtrot says to refresh the weather on the slave to the master will require X-plane to restart on the slave. I've noticed if I start a new flight, it will do it. So if I actually change position or start a new flight, even if I change the position, you know, I stop my flight, I'm on the ramp, and I change to another tie-down position, I've noticed it will sync this up. But mid-flight, it doesn't do it, and that's too bad that that's a bug. But this looks pretty incredible, by the way. I'm going to turn off the autopilot and just... We'll take a look at this out the window here, because this is pretty amazing environmental effects over here. That is bananas. Can't believe we live in a world where simulators look like this. That is crazy good. Okay. I digress. Hey, digressions can be good for you. Better to digress than to regress. Am I right? Nice view of the lake down there. All the Dilly weather is giving us is the barometric pressure, and that's interesting. Okay, so basically we go through that pass up there. You might not quite be able to see it, but there's a notch right there. We head through that, and then we pop out into the Togiak River Valley. This is Ulik Lake coming up. And let's get back to our intended altitude here. And 4,500 feet's plenty of clearance to get through these passes. I've made this flight. I wasn't flying, but I've been on this flight in the front seat of the Goose where the ceiling was low enough. I guess it would be maybe 3,000 feet, maybe 2,500 feet, where the pilot was trying to find a way through. Like he'd come and try a pass, and it was too close, and he'd go, the ceiling was too low, and then we ended up actually flying, kind of flying down to the ocean and then over. That was a little unnerving. If I can show you on ForeFlight here, I'll show you where we are real quick. So right now we're about right here. We're over this lake. And we'll kind of go over these mountains. Then we'll go through this pass. And then this is where we used to land in the Goose. And then we'll turn left and we'll just follow the river down and then make an approach into, not into Twin Hills, but into Togiak. And its AWAS is 119.3. So we might as well get that dialed in. I designed the airport for Togiak that's in the sim. Somebody came along after me and improved it, which was great. Yep, 3017, that's what we got. Let's see if I can hear the weather one more time. 1805, so if that holds, we'll come in on 10. No, we won't. That's the short runway. We'll come in on 21, so we'll land straight down the pipe. Okay, good, we figured that out. Let's see. Stan, they've got separate mapping now, so Stan was wondering if maybe the yokes were conflicting, which used to be the case, and in fact I had online a Lua script that I had written that would, if you ran it as a Lua script, you could assign a command to flip the yoke assignments. I called it my airplane, your plane. You could flip a switch and it would switch to the left yoke or to the right, well, left yoke or right yoke. And you don't need to do that anymore. They've got control assignments for co-pilot, yaw, pitch, etc. So, and rudders. So pitch, roll, and yaw. So you don't need to worry about them conflicting. You can have the two yokes active at the same time. That's exactly what these mountains look like, by the way. It's really impressive the way the ortho scenery renders these days. Okay, so we've got the weather there. We can turn off Comp 2 for a second. I haven't. I've messed around to make sure it works. I think the pitch on it's a little loose. I opened it up and looked inside, and I think the rolling potentiometer that's attached to it is a little loose, which I'll fix, but I can't wait to get one of my kids in here or somebody and fly from the right seat. Yeah, see, and there you go, a little edumacation for you. Okay, about this point, I'd be starting to get really excited because, like, pretty soon here we'll be getting to where we want to be. This is actually the pass I want to go through over here, get us lined up to the right spot. Flying in the Goose was cool. There are not a lot of Grumman Gooses left operational in the world, and this one flew out of, and I think it's still operational, Freshwater Adventures out of Dillingham. Built in 1942, 1943. I actually have a picture of the fabrication plate. I got to sit in the right seat of that with the pilot probably 3 or 4 times over the course of 10 years. And it was awesome. That's an awesome piece of equipment. And when it lands on the ground and then, or it lands on the runway, lands on the river, and then he manually with a cranks down the wheels, and then you pull up on the beach. It was awesome. Okay, we're gonna fly this like he used to. We're gonna go manual here and start descending as soon as he got through this pass. The other thing, I don't know if you've noticed, Fox, but occasionally this slave over here just goes crazy and loses its view like it just did there. Now there's plenty of daylight there. Like, it's only 6 in the afternoon there. Sun goes down at 10 o'clock. So this is all just from overcast. And if I show you on the MFD, our target is pretty much straight ahead. There's probably a way that I could Yeah. Our target is basically right about right there. Can't get it quite exactly on it. I could create a user waypoint there, but I don't want to. So, we've come through these mountains. Up there is what we would call Pongo Lake in the distance, off the wingtip. There's a tributary to Togiak that comes out of that. The Punga Kepit. And we would keep coming down here. He would call ahead to the camp and get a weather report. I can actually see the Togiak River now just in the distance. You guys probably can't see it yet. He would call ahead and get a weather report and would plan to either make an east or west landing on the river over these bluffs. We'll do a low pass and then we'll make the turn as we come along the tundra here. And we will be there in just a second. Tundra flying by. Way up there, another 25 miles, is the lake that this river flows out of. This is a huge river. Nobody in the lower 48 has ever heard of it. Nobody here has ever heard of the Togiak. But it is impressive. And it is loaded with fish. Okay, we want to lose more altitude here. Put in a notch of flaps. Thanks, Foxtrot. I'm happy to be flying in the sim again, too. It's a good thing. Okay, this over here... This is the Pungo right below us. Tundra view out this window. And this basically would be our runway coming up right over here. There's a stretch of river here. And that was the landing point. And I'm just going to buzz it in kind of landing configuration so we can see what it would look like. That river up there, that mountain off the right is called Cache Mountain. There's a creek up there, Gechiak Creek, I think. It's named after that. Yeah, so you'd basically come in here really low. Just off the deck in the Goose in full landing position, in full landing config, full flaps. Gear up, of course, because he was landing on the water. And would basically treat this as his short final. There's like a 30-foot bluff here. It may or may not render in the sim. But that's our runway. That's our sight picture right in front of us. It was so cool doing this.
500.
Yeah. And he would basically would get to about here. There are no trees there, by the way. Not in Alaska, not like this. Get about here and he would cut the power and would put it right in the drink there. Flaps coming up. And then the camp was right there, which you can sort of see in the ortho scenery. Alright. Now we'll follow the river down. This is a back channel here to the main stem. In Flight Simulator, prepared many years ago, I actually made that approach on a goose and landed there, which was sort of fun. Yeah, so the one thing that Simhaven is getting wrong with its vegetation library is these kinds of trees. They're all willows and grizzly bear trees, not pine trees like this, but that's okay. There's another trip down here, the Gechiak River, which comes in right over here on this side. You'll see right down here in a second. There's the Gechiak. And then over here is back to where the Tog is. This is clearly not long after winter that this ortho scenery, these satellite shots were taken, because there's snow all over the place. Yeah, thanks for the warning. Now let's take a look here. Hey, Sessim. I would love to see a picture of your build if this was the inspiration. Please don't hesitate to share it. I'd love to see it. And it's very nice of you to tune in. If you've come in late, we're flying down the Togiak River, Togiak, which is the fly fishing center of my universe every August. And there are many braids in the Tog, as you can see here. It'd be fun to do this in a float plane. I don't know that I've got a float plane for... Does X-Plane have a float plane built into it? Does anybody know the answer to that question? This really looks like the Tog down here. The ortho scenery is really great. Some point down here is another camp. Oh, it's right here. There's another camp right here, coming up the right window. Okay, so if that's where we are, I'm gonna turn around and orient myself real quick. That's the lodge. Practice a steep turn here. Oh, we got some rain. So, where was the lodge? The lodge is right there. So then, let's see if the mesh has the hill. Not really. The mesh is pretty good, but it's not great. That's 3 fingers. I'm naming the fishing holes. Okay. Alright. Well, we'll go back around one more time, and then we'll go land. Hope this isn't making anybody sick. Boy, the clouds though, the weather in X-Plane is just so good compared to how it used to be. Here, we'll buzz the lodge.
500.
Okay, and then we just go down here a couple of bends in the river and we'll come straight in on 2-1. Let's get that bugged. So the village of Togiak is a little teeny village. Sorry, I left you out the front view. It's a native village, fishing village, and only reachable by boat or airplane, like lots of these places. Boy, that is just off the hooks good looking, isn't it? Wow. I just can't get over the way the weather and stuff looks now. Look at that. Great. Okay. So, we can go first flaps because we're basically on base. A little high. Go ahead and go full flaps. There is our airport. Oops! Camera bump! Sudden turbulence. That's what I say now whenever I get a camera bump. I'm going to say sudden turbulence. Over there is the beach where we get in the boats. And this part of the world is not mapped by SimHaven because there are no buildings.
500.
Landing light on. A little slow at 77. Yeah, if I remember, I want to be about 20% in TorqueSim. It recently redid this runway. It's nice and graveled now. We fly in here on like a -8. We've got crosswind, as you can tell. Want to lose a little power, we just take a little altitude, take a little power out. There's a cool Piper 6 that flies in and out of here a lot. It's usually on the ramp. Cherokee 6. Aerodynamic braking. Lights aren't on yet. Yeah, those trees are not, but that's not X-Plane's fault. It's SimHaven. I'll probably go in here and work on this airport a little bit now that we can make better hangars and things in X-Plane. This is pretty close to what it's like. I don't know why we got to snip this road. There's a road out in the middle of the tarmac now. Some unrealistic aircraft sitting here. But for the most part, yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like. There are no street lights in Togiak, I can tell you that. So, we made it. That was sort of fun. And the local populace is usually going around on ATVs, but simulations can only go so far, right? Alright, so that's a quick hop from Dillingham to Togiak, Alaska, going down the main stem of the Togiak River. I'm catching up on the chat. Stan says scenery looks good. Yep, glad it looks outstanding. The 172 amphibious. Really? Foxtrot Flight Designs has rebranded from November 8033 Fox. Yes, SMX plane is flying great. And if you guys ever want to get on a Pilot Edge and do a flight somewhere together, let me know. Let's test that hypothesis about the amphibious 172. Cessna Skyhawk. Let's see. Customize. G1000. Default. Full white. No, also explain 10 waves. No, I don't see. I've got an old Cardinal loaded in here. Yeah, maybe I don't know or understand how to turn it into a float plane variant, but I am not seeing it. Oh, here we go. There it is. Well, next time that's what we'll do. All right, well, hey, shows you what I know. Not much. All right, well, folks, thanks for watching. If this is your first time thinking about clicking the subscribe button, and thanks for supporting the channel, and it's great to see everybody. Yeah, anytime. We just need to, you guys are all trying to tell me where to look. Keep scrolling down, pal. Keep looking down. Asgo Star Rider, thank you. So thanks for watching the channel, and the next flight we'll probably do either another Pilot Edge CAT flight or maybe continue the Utah Alphabet Challenge. Man, now that I've got these fans working in here, this is heaven. Oh, was that thing in up the whole time? It's interesting. Is that G5? That looks like a G5 that maybe the cable is loose or the USB's not working. Always something in a sim. Probably not till weekend after next, probably not the next stream. But thanks for checking in, and I'll see everybody soon. Don't forget to put the flaps up. Thanks, everybody.